Doesn't taste like beer at all.
What would go well with bacon beer?
Bacon?
Welcome, Simon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Now, how do you go with tasting lots of different varieties of beer? Are you a big beer drinker?
I am. Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, I do. Well, shouldn't say big beer drinker. I think might not be a good thing. But no, I do love tasting beer. Big Shining Peak and Mike Brewery fan. So go out and try different things. Try not to drink too much of it, but yeah.
What's the staple in the fridge? So if I came over to Simon's house right now and you're like, you want a beer, Dave? And threw me something from the fridge, what am I going to get?
Mike's Black is what I normally go for.
Okay.
The dark beers is what I like.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're going to like the later half of this then when we get to it.
Perfect.
So we'll start off. This is called Knuckle Dragger. Cheers.
Cheers.
There's 10 cheerses, just so you know.
Okay. Yeah, it's normal.
It's a normal lager, right? There's nothing pretty... I mean, it's nice. It's refreshing.
Yeah, refreshing.
Yeah,
very refreshing. Yeah.
CEO of Learner Me.
Yep.
You've worked your way all the way to the top.
Yep.
Tell me about Little Simon. I want to know about Little Simon, where you grew up, what your kind of interests were. Did you want to be a race car driver or an astronaut? And is this what you wanted?
Yeah, IT was my thing. I always wanted to do it. So as a 9-year-old, I created a vision board. And that was something that I read in a book that you should, visualize what you want to achieve. So I created this vision board, and on that thing, it was to be a CEO of an IT company.
Wow.
So it's a story like that. It's that I put that on, and I asked mom and dad to send me a photo of that. It's quite old now, and they sent me the photo. It's a bit blurry, but I'll show you one day. And it was like I had that, obviously, like the kid stuff of owning a Ferrari and this and that, all of that sort of stuff on there. But that was my thing. So now I've got 7-8 companies that I run at the moment. So
that's awesome. That's a great
CEO
story
for the group as well. Yeah.
Wow. So when did you leave India?
I left India in 2009.
2009. Straight over to Taranaki?
Straight over to New Zealand. I was in Hamilton. Lived there for about a year.
Yep.
While I was doing my learning and studies and things, and then Suman and Seema, who own Performac, actually offered me a job.
Yep.
And I came around, and that was my first entry into. So 2010 is when I came here.
Wow.
To Taranaki. Yeah.
Awesome.
I've been here now 22, so 12 years.
And still loving it.
Oh, awesome. Amazing place to be.
Yeah. So next up, we've got the Parrot Dog.
Mm-hmm.
This one is the Fresh Hop Hazy IPA. Now again, if you're a standard kind of, I like a beer drinker and I have an IPA, this is just going to be a beautiful beer for you. So,
oh yeah?
nothing new there?
No.
Fairly standard. It's a good beer. Again, one I'd have in my
Very
fridge.
refreshing,
Yeah, classic.
Yeah.
All right. So over the last 10 years, I'm interested. How have you seen social media change the way that CEOs or leadership people and the way they manage effectively to communications to their teams, to the communications to their market? What do you think has been a key change from that?
I think social media, well, obviously I would say like back in the day, back in the day, 10 years ago, I think it was more of the bosses will come in or the CEOs will come in and have a team meeting, and then you're back in your office, and then that's about it. The interaction was much less.
Yes.
To what it is now, where you want to keep your finger on the pulse sort of thing.
Yep.
It's easier and it's also, I think, it's not just social media, it's also the people that we are working with.
Yeah.
So the younger generation, the Generation Z sort of employees that you have, they make you change, because as CEOs, as leaders, you need to change when people are changing.
And now, Champagne Pilsner. Call hops on point. It's a garage project, Wellington Bear.
Yeah. Garage project, I know.
I love garage projects.
Garage.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Biggest achievement. What's the biggest achievement you've
Whoa.
Not family, not children. I'm not.
I'm going to
cut you there.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for narrowing it down, so I'm not upsetting anyone. I would say Learn to Me would be would be the biggest one.
Yeah.
Having the ability to really make a difference for learners that are disengaged, disadvantaged, and the stories that we get. I still remember this builder who had 40 odd years of experience building houses.
Yes.
And got injured and couldn't do anything. Couldn't be out in the field as such.
Yeah.
So, and he's going, I'm 60 years old. There's no way I can do anything else. And I'm just going to sit at home and all my learnings and all my experiences just down the drain. There's nothing that I can do. Because I don't know how to. He was so afraid of computers that, he would ask 10 times how to turn it on because he just didn't want to touch anything.
Wow.
Real phobia of computers. And then from there, we took him to, 3 months program and taught him project management, Microsoft Project. He understands the concept of project management.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for 40 odd years.
Yes.
But just doesn't know how to do it on a computer. So we taught him Microsoft Word, Outlook, project management, or Microsoft Project, I should say. How to use Zero and things like that. He set up his building company pretty much 3 months out after the program.
Wow.
And he's does foreman jobs, does the sales roles because he understands what's needed to build a house and how to do it properly. So he can provide right advice. He's not just a sales guy; he's a builder that's done it for a long time. So those sort of stories that really made impact.
So now, the first rule of Hop Club. This is a hazy double IPA.
Okay.
We're starting to get up there now into different forms of beer. So.
8% alcohol as well.
Cheers. Yes. Cheers. Who has been the biggest inspiration?
I would say I don't have one, but there are a lot of different ones. Personally, for personal growth, Jim Quick, the guy that wrote Limitless.
Yeah.
He's a big inspiration as well. So I always talk about with the learners all the time. Hey, this is a guy that had brain sort of injury when he was a kid. Was considered a guy with a broken brain or a boy with a broken brain all his life in school. And my thinking that has always been there, because I was very much, shouldn't say rebel, but I would say to my teachers, what am I learning this for?
Yes.
Like, what are you teaching me this for? What am I going to use this for? And I got into trouble for that a lot. Parents as well. My parents used to do the same thing. Dad wanted me to be a doctor or an engineer, which is every Indian person's dream. And I was like, nah, that's not what I want to do. Well, I really want to go through and not have that and do something in tech. That was my thing. And so I chose my subjects myself. I didn't let my parents choose that for me.
Yep.
And so there's been so many of those things happening. And when I look at it from his perspective, when I read his book, and I had really good memory always. And I didn't know I was using those tricks to actually remember things.
Yeah.
And so that's been a really good inspiration, and I talk to the learners about it all the time. Hey, don't think that there is something wrong with you, or we're not taught how to learn things in school. We are taught what to learn. We're not taught how to learn.
Yes.
So we will try and teach you how to learn. There are lots of tricks that you can do to learn it. It's not one way to deal with it.
Yep.
So so those are some of my inspirations.
Also, you get to this point where you get the epic bacon there. What do you think of that?
Oh, nice. This is yum.
I
like it.
Okay,
I like it.
it's all yours. Let's talk about Simon the person. Okay, one of the key things here is it's not just all about business.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does Simon do? Like, what's your hobbies?
I love gaming, so still do. As a 34-year-old, I still do a lot of gaming. So I play FIFA. Love sports, so play FIFA, and I'm getting my kids into it at the moment. So both the kids sit with me, and we create our own team, and be the manager.
Who's your
and do all
team?
of that.
Who's your? I'm just gonna ask. Being an Englishman, I'm just curious.
Do you want me to really tell you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Manchester City.
Oh, okay. All right. They've come up in the world.
A big soccer fan. Watch Formula One religiously. So again, love tech. So, and this is like that's like the bleeding edge of tech, not the cutting edge, bleeding edge of tech, and what they do. So love my cars.
Battle axe. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So what I want to talk about, and I asked someone else this question not so long ago, because they'd done an MBA, and I said, okay, so you've done an MBA in IT and business. How does the theory stack up against the practical? And their answer was quite diplomatic in terms of what they said. In your opinion, how does the theory of IT stack up against the practical of IT?
I can go two ways. This is a recorded interview, so I don't want to bag anyone. But so I'll keep it broad.
Yes.
When I was learning IT, and I was in university or polytech or whatever you want to call it, tertiary education, nothing in the theory of what I learned was relevant to my job. And I got a job 1 month before I finished my course, my program. So my course finished on 15th of November, I think, and someone offered me the job, and I started the job 1st of November. So I took 2 days off to finish up my my exams and stuff and get that sorted out. But nothing that I learned in there I ever used.
Wow.
Because when they were teaching us Server 2003, and this is back in 2009. So 2008 R2 is already out, and there's no reason why I should be learning Server 2003. And even if I learned at that time, maybe that was the industry sort of spec that we were working with. Well, you're teaching us as learners. You should be teaching us what's new and relevant, and that wasn't the case. And then when it came to networking, it was all Microsoft sort of stuff. We weren't taught Cisco or anything like that. And I'm paying $15,000-$16,000 as an international student a year for this. I don't think any of this is being used. The only reason why I'm doing it is so that I can get a stamp on a piece of paper, so I can show employers that I've done something.
Yes.
And the question is really good, but obviously coming from the CEO of Learn Me, it's a little bit different, and it can be can be considered biased, but that's what my thing was. The whole reason why we set up, we tried before we set up. Education was something I wanted to get into, but I didn't have the time to set up the education side.
Yes.
We had to set up because there was no other way of us getting what we really wanted. We tried working with Polytechs, we tried working with other education providers, I should say, and it was very much, well, this is what we have been doing. So for them to think about technology and making sure that courses are up to date and it's done on a, we're not teaching ASP.NET 2.0 and this .NET 5 is out, and that sort of stuff is what we were dealing with.
Yeah.
So we ended up with, we would hire people and then spend 6 months teaching them how to work. And it would be like, well, as a small business, how do I actually make this person productive and efficient?
Exactly.
So that's what created Learn-to-Me, was our frustration of, hey, we're not happy with the status quo. There's no one else doing this in Taranaki. So if we want to set up this business, we don't want to go outside Taranaki because we love the region.
Yep.
We need to do something, and that's when we set up that. But yeah, from my side, theory is really good. You learn concepts, and I think what it should be is that you teach broad concepts.
Yep.
In theory, which is important. Like you're teaching Agile as a framework, and you go, well, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what Agile is. This is why we do it. I get that point, theoretical understanding.
Yes.
But the person won't be able to won't know how to actually apply that knowledge into something that they are doing on a daily basis until and unless they have context.
Yes. Yep.
So I think that's what's missing from our current education system. And for tech, it's harder because we grow on a pace like no other industry does.
Yep.
So, even for us, we were going through the last year Learn-to-Me, we were going through and updating our courses every 3 months, compared to some of the conventional education model systems that don't do it for 3 years.
Wow.
So 3 months to 3 years, and we were in 3 months, we were going, people are the learners were issuing bug reports because that's what we try and teach them.
Yes.
Hey, if you find a bug, report it. So they're going, hey, you guys are talking about something in the video that is explaining something on the screen, but that doesn't actually exist anymore because the user interface has changed. Adobe has changed, or one of the websites that we used as a resource in the thing to teach them something, the look and feel has changed, so we'll have to re-record the thing. And that was the hardest part of keeping Learn-to-Me up to date.
Keeping it up, yeah.
And we were going, hey, we are struggling at 3 months. How are these guys doing 3 years? And then expecting that we will be able to go through and get people that could be hired and employed and for everyone else for all of them to be productive and efficient for businesses.
Now, would you like a milkshake? This is a raspberry sour milkshake beer.
I've been smelling this.
Oh, cheers. Sorry, jeepers. How
Cheers.
rude.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh,
What do you think?
this tastes like kombucha. Doesn't taste like beer at all.
A proud father, CEO. How do you find the life-work balance?
Oh, I think for me, family first too. I try and make it so that it's like clear distinctions between my role as a father and the role as a CEO. So when I leave work, laptop's there. During the week, it stays there. Weekends or Friday, I will take it back home. So in case I need to do something on the weekend, but I rarely pick it up. So I try and not do work at home.
Yep.
So that's why work from home actually doesn't work for me,
Right.
because I can't get into the mindset, because I've spent so long to try and sort of program my mind to not work or not be efficient, productive at home, and that stuff is at work. So it's a little bit different sometimes, but now love spending time with the boys. I've got 2 boys, so love spending time with them.
All right, now we're getting to your kind of fun stuff. So
Dark.
this is dark. Yeah, this is really dark. You can't see through. This is a Harvest Moon Dark IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give it a go. Cheers.
Cheers. I like that.
You like that?
That's my sort of.
That's your jam.
Yeah.
All right, so Doc Brown has just come in the DeLorean, giving you the keys, okay, but he's giving you a limitation. You can only change one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to one time, one day, change one thing for you, not for humanity or the world or anything else, for you.
Okay.
What would it be?
I was always interested in tech, like I said.
Yes.
Right? But after school, I thought, well, I know tech. I can do tech. And I can do it. Again, as an 18-year-old, you're a bit cocky. So I was like, well, I can do it better than some of these guys anyway. So I don't need to learn tech. I need to learn business.
Yep.
And so I enrolled myself into a business degree. And I think that was the biggest waste of my 3 years that I could have had, because stuff was theoretical, and I was telling someone the other day, it was teaching me accounting and teaching me all the commerce stuff that you generally learn, and I didn't want to learn at that point. I wasn't open to learning because I couldn't see what it was for, and now you give me set of financials, I can read it. But this hasn't come from that part, it has come from the experience that I've got and teachings that I've had from Stephen, who's our finance director sort of thing.
Yep.
Or who's a director that brings the finance perspective. So I've learned most of the finances from him. So he's a CA, he will explain everything. But at that point, I didn't do anything. So 3 years, or 2.5 years, I wasted. I wouldn't change it because that's where I met my wife.
Oh, okay.
So if I wouldn't have done that, then I wouldn't have met her.
All right, now we're going around the world. This is just an IPA. Cheers. I think it will refresh. Oh, that's right. It had a smoky kind of weird aftertaste to it. I forgot about that.
It's like that double IPA, the behemoth sort of thing.
It is, yeah. I don't mind it. So, in an interview in 2020, this was with the Chamber of Commerce in Taranaki, you started to talk about online educational channels, and at that time, you were talking of them in a COVID initial viable way to start promoting learning and doing things differently, because obviously we were forced down a route that we weren't prepared to go down previously. It was always there, but it was not something we were pressured into. We're 2 years later now. What have you noticed? Like, has it succeeded? Has it dwindled? Has it, as we get back to some sense of normality?
Has changed our industry.
Yes,
I think
dramatically.
And for us, we were joking about it, BC, which is before COVID, rather than what it used to mean, and because that's how big of a change it is.
It is.
In 2 years, it's completely changed the industry. The amount of conversations that I'm having with our clients around not using or not thinking about tech as a afterthought, and thinking about tech while you are doing the growing part. So think about that at that moment. Earlier, what they used to do was, well, we had clients that bought businesses and didn't do any tech audits.
Yeah.
They just bought business because the business was making good money. That was all good, great. They did the financial audits,
Yep.
and then went through and then said, well, Sam and I, we bought this new business. Can you come in and support us on that one? And then I'm going in and I'm going, guys, these guys have no information management systems. There is no audits that have been done on the IT side of things for us to manage or merge what these guys have with what you have is a chalk and cheese situation. Like, how would I do that? So they ended up spending money and all of that sort of stuff. So it's a hard one to think about. But now, we all of us think about pandemic scenarios, policies. We think about, well, we need to go with laptops rather than desktops. Because we can, if there is a pandemic, we can take it home and work it that way. So for companies, that's changed a lot. Our stocks and supply chain is completely different to what it used to be.
Yep.
We couldn't just go, well, we'll order 6 computers tomorrow and we'll be okay. Well, we don't know if there's 6 computers in stock.
That's right.
So people, and we had to ask our customers to change too. And we could say, well, you need to make sure you give us a bit of a heads up. If you just tell us, well, I'm hiring someone tomorrow, or they're starting tomorrow, can I get a computer sorted out? There is a chance that we might not be able to get the computer sorted out.
Yeah.
There's no computer there for us to sort out. So business has changed. Thinking has changed. The way we do these easy things that we thought about that were, we took it for granted. IT was taken for granted for a long time by a lot of people, a lot of businesses, because they would go, oh, we can easily get it. Well, computer is not a problem. You guys should be able to get the computer sorted out in a day.
That's right.
Well, we can get it, but the computer is not there for us to sort it out.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of change, and online learning's been a classic example. People have used this time to really work on themselves through the pandemic.
Yep.
And go, well, okay, this is what I can do, and let's try and learn more. And businesses have also used, well, we can't manage your time because you're working from home really well, so let's just try and give you some training opportunities at this time, so might as well be paying you. We use this time to do something.
Yes.
So that has happened quite a bit as well.
Final beer.
Okay.
So you've done 9 so far. This is the 10th. This is the Urbanaut. This is the chili beer.
I can't feel any chili at all.
Wow. You must have a better tolerance to me to spice.
Oh, I got it.
It was there. It was a chili flake. Last question.
Interesting, yeah.
What's the future goal for Simon? What do you want out of the future? What are you looking to do? What's your ventures?
Oh, lots of stuff that we're doing at the moment. Some of the stuff that I'm excited about, we're thinking of taking, or we're exploring very seriously, going to Australia.
Oh, wow.
So not moving everything, but like sort of setting up a base in Aussie and see how we go there. Still keep our HQ here. That's never going to change while I'm alive. And then the other thing was we're creating an app that's going to look at not just wouldn't replace, but a supplementation of the career and pathway system that we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
So really looking at some of those metrics from a learner's perspective, and understanding, what were their inspirations, what were their hobbies from year 9 onwards.
Yep.
So and it's also like a service-based app where providers could get access to it, and we're all looking from the same page where we know the history about a client. As long as the client agrees to share the history,
yep,
we could get access to it. and it then creates a really cohesive sort of provider ecosystem.
It sounds like you've got a lot of exciting things coming up.
Yeah, amazing stuff.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure drinking beer with you and having a chat.
Same here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Simon.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.